And you have that the Jesus clip that we from last time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Hello? Hi. I'm in such a bad mood.
Why? What
Good. Are we? Audi's on. You're in a bad mood.
Yeah. I
don't think the haircut's that bad.
No.
It's pretty bad.
No, it's a cute haircut.
No, it'll be fine. It'll be fine when I figure it out. Going on vacation tomorrow. So I'm a little sick, which is a little annoying. But I take my dogs to the kennel today and check the zip car in the morning. Make sure they move location, so it's further away to go get the car. Fine. I woke up early. I get there and suddenly zip car, it doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, that happened.
We had this.
That happened to us.
We actually had this.
It just went
ruined
away.
An entire
Yeah.
vacation. We ruined an entire upstate vacation emailing Avis.
Yeah.
All the entire time.
They were just like, well, we're closed. Well, there's no cars. And we were like, well, you did take our money and make an appointment. So that was like weird to do. Like you could have saved yourself time
Well,
on that.
they had all the cars. Their cars.
Yeah, it was locked
the
up.
The app went away, and because there's no physical keys anymore, like all the reservations disappeared. And they're like, sorry, our app's not working. And you're like, but we see all the cars here.
Mm-hmm.
And so then it's like, I can't do it tomorrow because the place is closed tomorrow, the animal place. So it's like, I have to get rid of these dogs somehow. So
you think you're going to put them down?
Yeah.
I mean,
and
so
I'm in a bad mood about it.
so I killed my dogs.
My bare hands.
No, but so I walk home and I'm like, I don't know what to do. Then the app is working and it's like, your reservation started.
Ew.
And I was like, so I just got back home. Walk a mile back to the place and extend the trip to make it have time. And then I was like, okay, sir, that works there. It's here, but it's saying I'm not in range. And he goes, oh, is it out there? Like just on the street. I was like, but wait, they can do that? And he goes, yeah, just hit the honk button until you find it.
No.
So walking blocks, hitting a honk button, and I can hear it in the distance.
No.
In the distance, I get to it. It's double parked.
No.
It's double parked with random cars. It's just trapped inside a thing. And okay, but there was like a little room where I was like, maybe if I go up and back and up and back and up and like slowly get it out, I can get it out. So I tried doing that and I couldn't. And then I was stuck. And then, so I left it. I just left it. I just left it. And I went to the guy again and I was like, that's double parked. Sir, listen, I see that there are cars in this lot. Like I need, like, he goes, yeah, there's one right there. It's the, and he said a car name. And I was like, and there's hundreds of cars. And I go, you have to take me to it. I don't know what cars are. You have to take me to it and make sure it's there. Anyways, it was a 3 hours of thing. And then I had a meeting at 1. And it just was a fucking horrible day. Anyways, I got rid of the dogs though.
Good.
Good.
Sorry.
Welcome to the downside.
No, that's crazy.
My name is Gianmarco Soresi.
Nice
I'm
to
here
see
with
you
my
both.
co-host Tova Silberman, special guest Russell Daniels here today too, and our special guest from Party Down and Flatch.
That's the credit you're leading with.
Flatch.
Party Down.
Party Down.
No, I know. Party Down's like the randomest credit to lead with. You're like helpsters on Apple.
Well, this is what happens when you have 2 clients of a manager all on the same podcast. You get the press release in advance. What credit do you lead with?
I don't remember any of them.
I would say Flatch or Kim Possible, but maybe not Kim Possible. I know you
that's
wouldn't
so
want me
long
to say
ago.
Kim
Well,
Possible.
I don't
But
mind
they're
it.
the biggest.
Right.
Yeah.
I liked Party Down. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I had
Maud.
a line on Succession.
UCB's Maud.
You did have a line on
Maud
Succession.
for 4 months.
What was your line on Succession?
Oh, sir, I'm sorry. Your brother, he
really needs.
Oh, wow.
And it was the first season, and it's what other than being on improv teams in New York, it's like what I get recognized for is because people like that show must have like crazy rewatch potential because people, it's one.
Oh my god! If there's a rewatch pod and it's like the Office pod, they get down to Nick Cafaro. Like, they finally get to you. They've been through like Jerry. They've been through everyone. They're like, let's get Jim Girl 1.
I'll be there.
Nick Cafaro, friend of Chris Cafaro, friend of the pod. I'll be the narrator. I didn't even say her name. Taylor Ortega. Welcome to the show.
Hi.
I saw your sister last night.
No way. I haven't seen my sister, and I've been here for days. Yeah.
I was with Chris
Sure.
Oh.
Yeah.
So we gotta. So here's what happens.
Okay.
As the
You
as the
explain,
director of a
everyone.
podcast, what happens when you have too many people who know each other intimately is that things are said outside. So here's how I've instructed people. Chris is the listener. Our producer Chris is the listener.
Oh.
So anything you say that he would have no idea what the fuck you're talking about, that's when you need to elaborate.
Okay.
That's a little trick that I've learned.
Well, this is really, there's so many overlaps.
Yeah.
I'll just go really quickly.
Okay.
Taylor was on a mod team with Chris. Chris is an Uncle
Okay.
Function.
Here,
Why would you start with me and Chris? Why would you start with me and Chris?
But pause right
No,
here.
I wanna-
No one knows what a
I
mod
know,
team is.
I know, but I think
Sure.
what's funny is that there's so many overlaps.
You think that the core relationship to start the web is me and Chris Cafaro?
Yeah, start there.
So that's, and I was friends with Chris before I knew you, but you're in a sketch.
Chris
with
is my friend who recently did the podcast.
Yes.
Yes.
Tova.
Oh, that's me.
We've all been
Yeah.
the comedy scene for some capacity. Tova and Taylor were in the comedy scene before Russell and I were in the comedy scene.
Right.
And we're friends when Tova transitioned from being Chabad to comedy.
Well, I think I was there after you.
You were there after.
Chabad. But
Sure.
it was sort of, well, it was
No,
very
maybe at the
freshly
begin-
after.
Yeah.
But you performed together.
No.
Ever?
No, what would happen was Tova would be running this show in the basement of the pit, and then another friend and I would be hosting like a web show or like shooting a web show in a back room.
In the green room.
So we would have to kind of...
They would be bleeding into each other.
The sounds would be bleeding.
So if you watch the web series, you can hear like laughter and applause from the comedy. And if you're on stage, you just hear Taylor being, "This week on the internet,
Yeah.
the hot dog went missing." And then,
Yeah.
and so it was really
It
obnoxious.
was a million years ago. But
Yeah. So I
But
was like,
did you know Tova when she was doing stand up? Like, did you ever see her do a set?
no, it was... Yeah, I've seen her do a set as a joke, but this was like right after. Like she had started producing shows. This was like your Empire Biscuit comedy era.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you were kind of on the producing.
Were you in that
hosting
festival?
side. No, so this was around this time when she was producing stuff. We had a mutual friend who was trying to get us to be friends, and we thought it was a thing where he was like, "These are just two women I know."
Sure.
You know,
Yeah,
and it's
sure.
like, relax, like let it happen if it's gonna happen. Like
Yeah.
stop just making like the only two women you're friends with be friends. And that might have been like really toxic of us. Actually.
Yeah, I think we were in an age where like, no, I'm a guy's girl. And we were
Oh, see, I was like desperate to not. I was actually desperate for a female friend. I don't know
was,
how
like,
I found myself
I just
there.
get along with guys better. So I don't know this pretty lady. I don't know.
Oh,
I don't
see, I
think-
always had women friends, and it was like a weird time in my life where all my friends were guys, and I was sort of like,
Now I've heard Tova describe you
I'm
two.
glad we cleared up how we all know each other.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do quick, and then we can expound because we could spend the whole podcast talking about the layers of Uncle Function and Ortega's.
Yeah, I don't think our listeners want
they don't.
the levels of
You
Uncle
don't wanna
Function.
I don't know.
Taylor's sister, who's in Wicked, is dating Chris Cafaro, who's in a sketch group with Russell and Gianmarco.
But was in a sketch
But
group
was
with
in
me.
a sketch group with Taylor, and I knew Chris through that. And
Yes.
before I knew Gianmarco, and Chris knew Taylor before he knew his girlfriend Natalie, who is Taylor's sister.
Yes.
This is the downside.
1, 2, 3. You're listening to The Downside
The Downside.
with Gianmarco Soresi.
Welcome to what now feels like a Chekhov play.
Also, didn't Douglas go to college? Or Joanne went to college with you?
Joanne went to college.
Okay,
Really?
no one cares. No
Joanne
one
went
cares.
to college
I
with my
do.
best friend,
No.
and I saw her in many plays. What a talent!
Wow.
Yes.
Well, we've had quite a run of people on SNL. We had Chloe Trost, we had Casey Shornima, and we had Britannic. So we wanted to mix it up. And so thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Taylor, you flew in.
Yeah, for the pod.
To surprise for the pod.
To stay here for
To
6
surprise
days and then
surprise Tova for the birthday. I think the surprise went well.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was very stressful. You thought
I wasn't stressed at all.
You thought you fucked it up the morning of though.
Yeah, I thought I was texted too early in the morning because
Yeah.
in LA. I
She's
would
normally
be
in LA.
awake. Yeah, but sometimes I am up. Actually, mostly every day I get up off the couch at 4 a.m. where I fell asleep and I like wash my face, brush my teeth, go to bed for 4 more hours. So it's really bad. I really have to work on it.
You're a couch sleeper.
So yeah, but it's because I live alone now. I like to co-regulate with a person that I'm living with, you know, where it's hard for me to like end the day, close down shop. Like I feel like I shouldn't be in charge of the apartment sort of, but I live there alone. So I do fall asleep on the couch and then I would kind of wake up and there's like candles burning and the windows are open. I'm like, you know,
You're a couch sleeper.
I am, yeah.
it's horrible.
Yeah. Because I struggle if it's just like no TV, no
Yeah.
like sound. I love a TV on.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'll fall asleep. I'll doze off. I usually won't be the whole night. I'll doze off and then find my way around 1 or 2.
1 or 2 is, I'm working on being more
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
4 is hard.
That's long. That's too long.
The
That's
whole
too long
night.
on the couch.
Yeah.
Well, with all these SNL people, we got to the SNL. We got it out of the way.
What does that stand for?
Saturday Night Live.
Night
I'm
Live.
familiar, yeah.
Yeah. So you were in contention
Yeah, a couple times.
a couple times. So for those who don't know, when you get the audition slot for the SNL showcase, there's 2 of them every year, and then you can get the screen test, and this is the big deal. This you'll hear every performer talk about it. It's notoriously there's not a lot of people watching. Usually the big dogs. You're told you might not get any laughter, but then you always hear from the people who get it. They're like they were laughing.
Yeah.
So that's just what they tell people. How many screen tests did you have?
I did 3, and this is not
Crazy.
usual. But I
Within
did
a year.
Within a year. So normally
Oh my
it's
God.
once a year, but they did a mid-season screen test really randomly 1 year, and so it was like a smaller group of us did that middle one. So I did 3
middle.
in a year.
They said they needed somebody.
But you normally do them in like September or something, and
Yeah.
they did one in like March. So yeah, I guess so. Maybe like someone didn't make it through the season. I don't remember. But they did 2 that year.
And if you watch them, you can watch a bunch online. You can see the one where they said no to Jim Carrey. You can
Yeah.
see the one where they said no to Steve Carell.
Yeah.
Totally.
They're not easy. To put a little
No,
theater
they're
piece,
weird.
it's strange.
And to do
Yeah.
3, like you do something totally new every single time. Like you can't come back with the same set.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like every 6 months you have a whole new, character set or stand-up set. And it was like the first thing I'd ever done. Like I hadn't had auditions for things.
Oh?
Yeah, I got like signed, and then that was the first thing I did, like that summer.
So you did 2. When you didn't get it, were you hurt or did you go, well, that was crazy?
I think it was, I said, sure. No,
Did
why
you
would-
feel good about when you did the screen test?
Yeah, the first one I did, I just thought it was so cool. Like I obviously love SNL, and so
You do it on the stage.
You do it on in
Yeah.
8H
30 Rock,
on the
yeah.
stage. So I thought it was really cool. Like you're in the dressing room all day. You literally, it's really, really stressful. You're like scared. Everyone's kind of stressed out. You're also like separated from everyone sort of. So you're just like in the chamber of your own mind
Yeah.
kind of.
Yeah.
And then you go out and it is really intimidating, but like the director and the stage manager, like they're so nice to you and they're like being really supportive. So I went thinking like, you do the showcase, the live show. I did the showcase. I said, what an amazing opportunity. It's over.
Yeah.
But then they called me like 2 days later and they're like, no, you're going to do the screen test. And I was like, that's even crazier. So then I went back to the screen test. And once again, it was just like, oh, happy to be here.
Did you get any laughs?
The first time, no, it's like pretty quiet. Like they actually, I think, want it to be, because you are being filmed.
Sure.
Right? So like, I think they also just want a clean like audition on camera. The mid-season one, I think it was like a little looser because it was like a smaller group of people. It was people a group of people that had been there already. And the rumor at the time was that Bill Hader was there laughing it up. So that's the rumor. Here's the thing I can't confirm because I never looked at the table.
Yeah.
Okay.
The camera's right in front of you, like swooping down in front of you. You're on the stage and the table's like off to the left where they all are. And like, I can't. I'm very sensitive. I can't
Yeah.
see. If I see anyone making any face, I'm going to be like, hates me.
Yeah.
Isn't the one who rooted for me to be here.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
You see,
So,
Lauren,
yeah.
didn't we see this one already?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then
too
a
hot.
third.
All the
Too
things.
hot,
Too
too
hot.
hot.
All the things people are always saying. So
So then the third one,
third one rolls around.
you go, man, I just
Man,
gotta clear, they like me clearly.
Yeah.
Clearly they like you.
Sure.
Something.
Well,
Is that like
They don't waste their
is that
time.
next summer? Like you do summer,
It
March?
was fall, spring, fall.
fall, spring, fall, and
spring,
I was
fall.
doing other jobs. And I also will say, I know where we're going with this. And what I will say is, what we're about to endeavor, it's going to make me seem really entitled. But what I will say is,
I don't think so. By the way, I think that's in
thank
your
you.
head.
That's how I felt with the reaction to it. But the process in my head was like, the process in my head was like, I went from not doing character sets, not doing anything, to kind of cobbling together a character and impression set for my first time around that, boom, I automatically went and screen tested. So the next time I went, I wanted to do different characters and stuff, but I also wanted to be like, do I have any other talents I want to show? So I did some like musical impressions of like pop stars and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I have been writing comedy songs and performing them with a friend. So when I came back the third time, I didn't want to just do new sets every time. I wanted every set to like up the other set.
Of course.
So I wanted to write something like an original piece of music, you know, for the third time.
Well, let's play it in its entirety.
And this is it's for rehearsal.
What more do you need to see from me? I've shown you almost every skill I have. Impressions of famous women and young boys. Regional accents, physical gags, and a perfect singing voice. What more do you need to see from me? Just give me the job, I'll do anything. For the past year, you've strung me along. All I could think to do was write this song. I don't know what you think you'll see this time you didn't see before. But I'm still trying to prove myself, so I guess I'll show you more.
And then she did a character piece.
Did a full set in between.
So this started the set.
And then she did characters, then came to this verse.
Plus I'm diverse, but not too diverse. I'll never try to fuck the whole.
That's probably not true.
I'm a star, but I won't outshine weekend updates. Michael J. What more do you need to see from me? Just give me the job, I'll do anything. I'm hot enough for NBC, but not too high for sketch comedy. Everyone keeps asking me for advice on their audition reels. I'm not sure what they think I know, 'cause I'm still trying to close this deal.
Character set.
Early, I'll stay late. I'll learn to make more goddamn popcorn. I'll go Keenan's blunts. I'll stop talking Kate. Just tell me, did I do something wrong?
Another one.
Something wrong. I shot a whole movie since the last time you saw me. Thought about you from start to end. Please don't make me screen test again.
How am I doing the line that they didn't love?
Well, it was a lot of screen time.
What more do you need to see from me?
So
Wow.
okay, so as you were finishing it, in your mind, did you go, "Oops"? Or like, what did you feel right in the moment? Did you go, because you didn't even look at them?
So, I'll be honest. I thought I nailed it.
Sure.
Like, would you hear people? Were they laughing at that? Like,
No, but I didn't think they were angry. You
No,
know?
okay.
I thought that it was, for me. I guess I didn't perceive myself as being in a position of power at all.
Yeah.
So I thought, like, obviously it's a joke, and like, I was so focused on like, let's sing it right, let's like not go flat.
And this was when
let's,
SNL
Yeah.
was still a comedy show.
yeah.
It's important to remember.
Yes, it was 4+ years ago, you know? And I was just focused on like singing the song properly and like remembering what the characters were. Like, character comedy is so stressful. Like, when you're doing a character set, I've never done a gymnastics routine, but it's just like, if you miss one thing, the whole fucking thing is fucked up, you know?
Yeah.
And so it's so stressful that I was so focused on like, wouldn't it be cool if I did this? That I wasn't at all thinking that they were like, what a little bitch.
Yeah.
What a stinky little bitch, you know? It didn't even cross my mind. And that's, you know.
I get it though.
I could see it going both either way. Like I could see people being very charmed by that, you know?
I get why
Maybe.
what
Russell's
they
like crossing out his character set. He's like, Tova, I need to change my reel. I learned nothing. I'm like, Russell, why don't you write a song?
Russell's like it's my first and last screen test. But I think it's like one of those jobs where it's like, well, they don't want a it's a very like independent spirited thing, and you're auditioning to be like in the ensemble to begin with.
Totally.
Especially back then, I feel like there's been more like featured like big swings that they take, but I can see. I thought it was cool. I think it's cool, obviously, because you're giving voice to what everyone's felt.
Totally.
Who not just SNL, the world of auditions.
Right.
Yeah.
Also, it's so crazy because I do think that spirit definitely, like, there are definitely comedians who are like that, right? Who like literally feel that way, where they're like, "Where's my show? Like, where's my whatever?" Like, there is obviously entitlement that exists, but I would have literally taken anything.
It's a really catchy song too.
It is.
Like
I
it's
know all
a
the
very
words.
good song.
I wrote it with
I
Max.
have-
You can hear Max Ash
Yeah.
on the tape a little bit.
You said day of.
Ultimately never gotten a rejection quicker from
Yeah,
that.
they were like,
Oh, really?
you could tell
Usually
it.
they're like, we'll keep you posted, or you just kind of hear that people are meeting Lauren, and then they don't tell you anything until it's done.
It's announced.
That night.
Yeah.
That night they're like,
good.
no.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah.
what the bottom line is,
Yeah.
if you were going to get it that year, I think they would have been fine with it.
Yeah.
They would have. Also, I'm like this is like my whole life. I'm a very people pleasy person. Okay,
Uh-huh.
I don't think this is the worst mistake I've ever made.
No.
You know what I mean? I think coming off like a big entitled bitch is like, it's not usually one of my problems. So I think this was a scenario where I do think I was misread, or maybe I took a risk I shouldn't have taken. Or maybe I thought that they were perceiving me the same way I was perceiving myself, sort of, and that's
Sure.
not, and that happens a lot to me. It really does. I think that like sometimes I'm not seeing the picture other people are seeing, and that's okay. It really
I don't
worked
get the
out.
entitled thing. I can understand going like, I don't like a meta thing. That's the most I could see someone responding. You did not come off like an entitled bitch.
No.
You didn't go.
Thank
You
you.
didn't.
Yeah.
You didn't start the audition going like, guys, what do you want from me?
Yeah,
you
yeah.
made a song.
Right.
It
It's
was
a
I worked
funny-
really hard on it.
Yeah, you worked hard
I
on a
defended
song.
100%.
I worked really
I think
hard
it was
on
a
it.
great choice.
I also was gone all summer shooting a Disney Channel movie, so then I like came back, like had to run stuff on all these shows. Like I really worked really hard. It was like, if anything, I thought the effort I put in was out of great respect for the process.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which obviously I did have. Also, if I was a comedian who I think was like blowing up at the time and like had a bunch of stuff going for me, like I thought it was pretty obvious that it's like, this is my only thing.
Sure,
You know?
sure.
Yeah.
This is all I got. You know? But that's not what that institution is, and I learned that lesson.
Yeah. Who did they hire that year?
Chloe.
Oh.
And honestly, that was
probably-
the right choice.
Well,
that was
it's not
the
even
right,
the right
choice.
choice. It's like they probably were going to do that anyways.
and at
Right.
the end of the day, you both got to do the pod.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Chloe
Different,
Feynman.
different Chloe.
Oh,
Yeah,
never
you
mind.
wish. It was a while back. It was a while back. Yeah, sorry, no.
I was like, yeah, that's pretty recent.
Yeah.
No, it was a while back, but no.
This you did. It was Kim Possible. It's a movie.
It's a Disney
TV
Channel original
it's a
movie.
TV
A decom.
I haven't
Yeah.
seen it yet, but I'm gonna get to it.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
No, I want to see it. I
It's
want to
fine.
see it.
It's really
Because you went from, you were doing UCB, you were on Maud Night, which is a UCB sketch show
Yeah.
that used to mean something. And
I was like an improv person, really, and then I started doing these characters for SNL. Like I created a set for an SNL audition, and that's when I started doing like sketch and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I only did Maud Night for 4 months, and then I got Kim Possible.
I
so
remember-
I'm never coming back.
I saw I think I saw your maybe your first show.
First one, we were both there.
Yeah.
And Tova was there too. I
Yeah.
didn't even know
Oh,
Tova.
See,
was
that's
yeah.
like the invisible thread of these groups that I was trying to explain earlier.
Yeah.
Is that we were all there.
There was a sketch where you couldn't say the word cucumber, I remember.
Oh, that actually wasn't our first show. That was maybe like our fourth. That was my favorite one.
Wow. It's only the one I remember of that time.
Yes.
But it
Yeah,
was
that
very
was my
funny.
favorite one.
It
That really was the
very
one
That
where I
would have
said
gotten you
maybe.
SNL for sure.
Yeah.
Well, and actually, that's the one where I said I think I'm going to quit the team because I had fun doing it, but I was like the only sketch where there was wiggle room for me to improvise. And I said, I don't think I like doing sketch. I
my
think I want to
God.
be an improviser. You know, I think I want to either go back to doing that or do stand up or something else. So,
Yeah.
Well, I want Tova to do improv. I want some world where she's allowed to do improv in a way where no one knows about it. Because I
Yeah.
understand people. No one wants to go.
to see improv shows.
No one wants their
Their
manager to
manager
do
to
improv. If my manager called and said, "Hey, what are you doing this
Hey.
Friday?" I'm like, "I'm free. What's the gig?"
Yeah.
Well, actually, you just
I
sit
need
back
to
and
have
enjoy
10
this
people
one.
come
Would you
to the
want to
show.
do? There's no improv bringer shows. Do you? Would you?
There could be, by the way.
Improv was the thing I was still doing when I became an agent, where I was like, went to my indie team. Actually, Dash Turner, who's also a client, was in my indie group.
No
And-
way.
Yeah, I did improv with Dash at
That's
UCB.
crazy.
And I was like, one day came up to like practice, and I was like, I think I have to quit. I'm gonna be an agent on Monday.
Yeah.
And they were like, what? And I'll never forget this, because then I was like, oh, I'm an agent. Isn't that cool? And one of my other improv people was now in the next level graduation class, and I was like, oh, an agent will be at the show. And then she goes, do you think Shannon O'Neill will be there? And I was like, oh, you're in a
Probably.
cult. Like, no, just like ignoring the fact that an agent's going to be there. It's like, do you think Shannon O'Neill will be at the 401 graduation?
I need to get on a house team tonight.
The idea of someone
Well, let me
being an
tell it.
agent while actively taking improv classes would be a nightmare.
Yeah.
Every
Yeah.
person would be
I
like,
quit
Everyone
the
would be
day-
all over
I
you.
quit the day.
Toba was
Was
like to be fair, like a 24-year-old agent.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like, that
Like-
doesn't happen a lot.
yeah.
was it hard when you quit?
It wasn't hard. I think improv is a thing I like. It was so silly fun, and it wasn't for any career gain or any like we're doing like it was fun, and I think it's
Yeah.
like it's the way
You
I
would be
express
better at
myself.
improv, and I can say this confidently, than both me or Russell.
Yeah.
I know that for a fact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You move quicker. You're sillier. You'll go to a character faster.
You'll do anything.
I'll do anything.
You'll do anything.
How would you do, like? I get two in my head.
Me
but,
too.
But is that how you describe?
Same thing, yeah.
Russell,
I
well,
feel like-
Russell, we tried an improv once
no.
for an Uncle Function thing. Remember that video?
No.
With that. She was doing like a red carpet thing, and she was
Oh,
like, "What are you wearing?"
my
And you're like,
God.
"Oh." And we were like, Russell, please say something. Please, dear God. It was shocking.
I had food poisoning that morning, by the way.
Okay.
And I was like, it was one of those things where you get to somewhere and you're like, what the fuck am I here? Like, and it's like, I was just throwing up. It was Anna Fabrega.
Anna
is who it
Fabrega.
was. Yeah.
Well, I think part of the reason I didn't want to do improv was also coming out of the Orthodox world. I didn't know any references, and I'm like, I'm too stupid to do improv. I'm not cultured enough to do improv because Taylor would like pull shit out that I'm like, oh, you're gonna do improv and it's a Jurassic Park segment. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
And so I just felt so out of
Yeah.
the loop culturally.
There was a story of someone where all her improvs, and she was an immigrant from somewhere, and all her improvs
yeah.
started with, my husband said we can go to the park today, and every setup involved my
setup was
husband
that.
gave me
My husband gave me
permission
permission to do something today.
What's
told us
incredible
that
about
story?
improv, it really reveals, like, they had to tell our class at one point, they said, guys, this woman in class said, I'm tired of being everyone's mom in scenes.
Wow,
And it's
yeah.
because every guy in every scene would turn to her and make her the mom.
Yeah.
And yeah, just it happens with improv. People, you don't have time. It can be very nerve-wracking. You don't have
Yeah.
time. If you're going to
Yeah.
be a funny improviser and you want to be like self-conscious, it just doesn't fit sometimes.
And it's also good to ask for that if you don't want to be the mom, but
Of
it's also
course.
like, get over it, be the mom. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've been on teams.
That's what I said.
Yeah, I've
It
been
was
on
not
teams where
received as
one
warmly as
person
we
has
are
to be
now.
the logical person in every single show. You think he wants to be? No, but we're not. We're trying to think of a whole thing. We don't have time to be like, let her do
Fair,
something
yeah.
different this
Well,
time.
I think that's like good, like improv teams like Hot Sauce, like Adam Pally and Ben Schwartz and Joe Mandy. I think they've been together for so long, you can just see the ease. So as an audience member, you're like, okay, it's like they're so comfortable with each other that it makes
Yeah.
the improv so good. Not just because
Yeah.
they know the rules and they're funny, but because they are so trusting of each other.
That's actually
Yeah.
part of why I like also had to like stop doing character sets. Was like, other than having to like drag a bag around, it was
Yeah, so many bags.
the bags are crazy.
Oh my God.
And it's so
Talk
limiting.
about the arm.
And I will talk about the arm. And I'm actually not going to talk about the arm.
Wait, I would like you to.
Well, I will. But it was like when you would get up to do a character set on a show and you just have to run it on a show, and maybe you're on a stand-up show where they
Yeah.
think everyone's just talking out their ass and just like absolutely rolling off the cuff. And then you get
And
up
then
there with
you're-
a wig on. They're like, she prepared. I hope it goes well. Like
know.
people are like, you know, and
The
it's
short
just-
version is
The short version is I was doing a JFL callback and I had a suitcase of props and one of them was a mannequin arm, okay? And a
And then-
mannequin arm with bracelets on it kind of didn't fit all the way in the suitcase. So the mannequin arm is sticking up out of the suitcase.
no.
This is years ago, okay?
And then she-
I have my callback. I go on a date with my boyfriend. He breaks up with me
and she has to roll the suitcase.
and
up.
I'm like, well, and I'm also, it's the middle of winter, so I'm in one of those like puffy, I lived in New York, so I was in one of those puffy, like sleeping bag looking coats. Not a great silhouette to
Yeah,
walk
yeah.
away in. And I'm wheeling the suitcase and the hand is sort of like waving goodbye. Like, you'll, like,
the funniest.
like that's what he's remembering as I'm walking away. I'm like,
It's
regret
just so
this.
humiliating to
Horrible.
to wheel that bag home.
And I've just done a character set
Yeah.
in a showcase audition, which is like not as fun as a regular show.
Oh no.
Just the sweaty desperation.
I hope improv. I feel like pre-COVID, we lived through improv becoming too many classes, too many shows. Everyone, improv became the punchline as the shitty thing.
Yeah.
You had to go to your friend's improv show. And I feel like a lot of those schools broke down, shattered.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping, I want a space for improv to be good. Because when you see good improv, you go, oh, no one wouldn't not enjoy this. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree, but I also don't. I won't go because it's so stressful to me that even I'm not worth. It doesn't. It's not worth taking the risk.
Well, it
And
doesn't
you
really
see a
make
great
money,
team.
so it's hard unless it's a big. Because like when we moved here, it was like the improv boom, and so it was so huge at the time that like there were just a lot of spaces for it, and people did want to go see it. Now it's like it's really hard to get it going.
You did like the real Del Close marathons, right?
I don't think I wasn't like a big UCB. I was eventually like kind of snuck onto a UCB team eventually, but it was kind of after I took a big break from improv when I started doing like showcases and stuff because I just didn't have the time and I wasn't writing stuff down, which was a bad habit.
Yeah.
And so I kind of came back to it afterward, and that's when I ended up on a UCB team. And it was just sort of because I really got along with the group of people, and we liked hanging out
Because I
every
introduced
Saturday.
you to Michael Cruz
You
Kane.
did. You
I made
introduced
Taylor
me to
and
Michael
Cruz
Cruz Kane.
go on a date, and I said, you guys are going to be friends.
Yeah.
What are
And then they run an improv team together.
Yeah.
What are your strengths as? Because I just. What are your strengths as an improviser? What are your weaknesses?
Hot. Hot girl.
Actually, when I was big in improv, and you've said this before, I was ugly.
Yeah, I say that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was really ugly in my biggest improv days.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
In what way?
Bad haircut, didn't know how to dress myself.
What haircut? What are we talking here?
Big glasses, big thick you saw it the other day.
I did see it the
You
other
saw
day,
it the other
but
day.
describe it to those who didn't.
It was supposed to be a pixie cut. It wasn't for me. I'm also 6 feet tall, more or less. I'm 5'11", and my face is for long hair. Okay, and you have to learn that by cutting your. I was watching America's Next Top Model where they do the makeovers, and I said, "Why are these girls crying? I would look beautiful with that haircut." And I didn't. I have very thick hair. It was just like I looked like a mom at the supermarket. It was bad.
When you first saw it, did you go, "Oh, this is badass"?
No, you know what happened is when I first saw it, I think my body went into shock and I said, kind of, what have I done? But normally where I would have like a big meltdown panic attack over like some bad bangs.
Yeah.
It was almost like, so I realized I had made such a
Point of
mistake
no return.
that I had to double down on it. I had to take pics and be like, I love what I did.
And I'm not a lesbian.
And I'm not a lesbian.
Yeah.
Me and my boyfriend have the same haircut, and I'm not a lesbian. First of all,
It really was the gayest haircut for the straightest period of your
of
life.
my life, yeah.
Do you think the desire to get that haircut for you could have been an early clue of, oh, maybe I'm a lesbian?
What's weird is now that I'm a lesbian, I
You
have
don't
the
have it.
longest hair I've ever had. I think. Who knows? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I will say, I had a boyfriend at the time where people would always tell us we looked like two beautiful lesbians. So who knows?
So who knows?
And then a friend did tell me recently, literally this weekend, we were talking about the haircut, and a friend told me that they were in the theater because he was an improviser, my boyfriend at the time, and that they were in the theater. And I did say, my boyfriend, I was scared to cut my hair off because I was like, he's not going to want to be with me, whatever, like all that toxic stuff. And he was so nice about it, and he was so supportive. And then a friend just told me that when I did it, that boyfriend was like drunk at the theater, like talking to my friend, going, well, my girlfriend got the same haircut as me.
Oh my god!
But he kept that to himself because he knew that was not to put on me, and I still appreciate that, you know. And I ultimately dumped him with my ugliest haircut of my life. I go, you're not good enough for me.
Wait, wasn't the same boyfriend as the
Different
hand?
boyfriend.
No,
Oh, different
different. I've had a
boyfriend.
lot of boyfriends. I've had a lot of boyfriends. Yeah.
What took so long?
That is such a good question. I had a really long conversation with the same friend yesterday about it. Because people are always like, oh my God, like, did you always know? Because I came out when I was 28. And they were like,
28, wow.
28, which to me feels really old. And now I'm like, it's nothing, you know? But yeah, people are like, did you kind of know, whatever? And I'm like, I had no idea at all. I was so shocked. I thought I was straight. I thought any gay stuff that I did was like, everybody does that, you know? Which isn't my
We
fault.
all eat pussy, right?
Yeah.
I think
guys?
it's not my fault at all.
Gianmarco, you the pot calling the kettle.
That's a thing.
Gianmarco,
Like,
the
What do you
first-
mean? What do you mean?
Look at
The
people
fuck
like
are
you, I'm saying.
Gianmarco just went, oh, you know how we all do gay stuff. Your first blowjob was from a man.
So
Sure.
you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
But it wasn't a full blow. It was
Exactly, but that's kind of what
What?
she
How
said.
do I
Sure,
know? Maybe the
sure.
other girl is gay.
no. But in my example, I wasn't gay, so it wasn't a
Right,
switch.
neither was I, buddy. I wasn't gay, okay? And then I don't remember this, but my friend told me this story after I came out, and this is like my friend from like growing up. Like we've been best friends since middle school, and she told me that probably a year or 2 years maybe before I came out, that we were out. I remember the time we hung out. I don't remember this happening, that we sat down and we were like having like a meal, and she brought up like, hey, do you think that like you might be gay? And I don't remember this at all. I've been like ally like my whole life. Apparently, who knows if this is what I said, but I was like, I'm not gay, you're gay. Everyone thinks you're gay. And then the way she says it is that I showed up, she says, like a month later with the gayest boyfriend she's ever seen. And that I didn't say this, but tonally I was very much like, who's gay now?
Yeah.
You know, and my boyfriend's like, hey, you know, and
You dated Gianmarco.
well, I think we all know it was pretty close.
How old were you when you two met?
When we met, you were probably 25,
24,
26,
25.
24,
Because it
25.
was right around the time I became an agent, so 25.
Yeah.
Were you
25.
surprised when Taylor came out, or were you like, oh yeah?
No,
Really?
I wasn't surprised, but I think
surprised.
on my separate journey, I was still coming out of orthodoxy. Where when Taylor was like going on a date with a girl, even that I was like, what?
Oh my God, that is so true, because that boyfriend. So around the time my friend had this conversation with me, that boyfriend was a friend that I had hooked up with for like a year before we dated, because I wasn't in a rush to have a boyfriend for some separate reason.
Yeah.
And I remember that everyone was hanging out at my apartment,
Floor
because that's
hangs.
where we would hang out.
We do floor hangs.
And I wasn't there till later, and he was kind of like, where is she? And Tova was like, oh, she's on a date. And I was on a date with a girl that I had met online, because I was like, everybody puts their preference to both sometimes.
Oh. This
And
is
I-
before you're gay.
Yeah, this was
Yeah.
when I was straight.
Yeah.
And then I had a whole other boyfriend after that. Like I went on the date and I go, see, it's not for me.
But I think in my perspective of it is like I was so sheltered that I didn't have any like lesbian friends. So I was like, whoa.
Well, neither did I,
Or
really.
like that bisexual. It was kind of the time of your life where you're like, bisexual means straight. Like
I thought
instead of
bisexual-
bisexual meant lesbian, it's like bisexual means straight.
Yeah.
I'm like, if you like men, then why would you like women?
I just didn't know, like, I also didn't have, like, we didn't have lesbians around.
That's what I'm saying. I knew more gay men, even in college. Like, the only out people at my Orthodox college were gay
Dudes,
men.
yeah.
No lesbians. And now there's a bunch where you're like, yeah, that tracks.
Yeah. I'm a very late bloomer. I'm not going to, like, pioneer anything, you know? That's just
Yeah.
not I have a lot of enthusiasm once I'm there, but I need to, like, I move slow. But my mom used to, like, when I was in high school, like, multiple times my mom would try to, like, have sit-down conversations with me where to help me come out.
My mom did that.
Really?
Yeah.
What were these talks?
Like, she would corner me, like, in the car, in the shower, or somewhere where I couldn't get out, and she would be like...
The shower.
Yeah, she'd, like, come into the bathroom, and she'd be like, oh, well, if you ever wanted to be gay, that would be okay with us, and...
So sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, but...
My mom would say, "You can tell me."
Yeah, you can let me know. It's
You can
safe to
tell
come
me.
out, whatever. But she did it so many times that it was kind of like, let it go.
Were your parents like, you better not be fucking gay?
They didn't talk to me.
You
about
go back to
anything.
football practice right now, Russell Danis. Don't you wear blasts and do a gay parody of Titanic one day?
Did they talk to your siblings that way ever?
I think my siblings were. I think my little brother is like straight.
Right.
He's a dude.
Right.
And then I have two sisters. I think are probably whatever. They probably have a good time.
Right.
And
But
then
do
I
you think
think-
your parents ever said your parents said that's the one I need to have the gay conversation?
That's the gay
with.
one.
That's the
Yeah,
gay
I don't
one.
think my dad would like pay attention enough to really realize he would need to have the conversation. But yeah, I think my
Yeah.
mom just saw me, and I was not popular at school. I didn't have a lot of friends, and if only that had been because I was gay,
Yeah.
and not my general demeanor and personality.
Say, hey, I feel you. Yeah.
What did your mom say to you?
It was a text, obviously.
A text?
But same thing.
How old?
In college. Because I was also like ally, you know.
It was also tough with Chabad or Orthodox. The outfits are so sexless to begin with. You couldn't be like, hey, that's a little gay. You're wearing your skirt all the way
Well, it's
below
the
your
opposite
feet.
for girls. When I see a girl in like an ugly skirt, I'm like, that's a lesbian. You know, like she's signaling. You know, yeah,
Sure.
for sure. Someone in like a weird little outfit, girl in a bolo tie.
Or like what's the singer that everyone doesn't really like, but she's trying?
No one likes
Oh,
her.
has-
JoJo Siwa?
JoJo Siwa.
Oh,
That's-
that's different. That weirdly,
No.
well, because JoJo Siwa dresses like a gay man ice skater.
Yeah. Wait, is JoJo Siwa a lesbian?
Yeah. Yes.
How have you not heard? This is
But the
that's
brand
the whole
of gay
brand.
is very, to me, gay guy. It's very like WeHo
Yeah.
gay guy. You know, it is very ice skating. It's very like the dance
dazzled,
costumes.
yeah.
Yeah.
I feel bad because JoJo Siwa gets a lot of hate.
Yeah.
Because she's a theater kid. She's got just a real she's
beyond.
trying full. Everyone's
Yes.
saying yes. She goes rainbow here. There's a rainbow there.
Yeah.
I know.
And
Yeah.
but I think some of the artistic choices isolated are kind of cool. I like she has like a mic
Like
with
what?
like a stand on it.
I don't
so
get that. I really do. I
don't-
think
I
about
don't
that
know.
a lot.
It's interesting though.
Was
it's
it-
something.
was it-
I would impale myself.
JoJo's
Yeah.
Titanic Russell goes,
Oh my God.
JoJo Siwa.
Listen, I didn't know there's
It was
there
JoJo.
was not.
No,
it was JoJo.
JoJo.
Oh, that's
It was
ultimately
way better.
Yeah.
But listen,
But I kept looking around and
but I didn't know there was a difference. I didn't know that there's three different JoJos. There's JoJo Siwa, and Casey and JoJo.
Casey and JoJo,
So,
yeah.
So I was like, so my niece was a huge JoJo Siwa fan.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh great, I'll get a picture with JoJo Siwa. And then I was like, they're over there
niece
because
was
I don't know
early
who they are. I didn't know.
mid-2000s
I would
pop.
know who JoJo Siwa was now, but at the time it was a little before.
You're like, who's this hot 30-year-old woman?
It's really nice. Yeah.
JoJo, she had a big fashion choice. She wore these little. Do you remember JoJo wore these little jackets?
Yeah.
She did
That
wear
was
little
her thing.
jackets.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Super little jackets.
Yes.
She was great. I think I read somewhere like
She's very
something
sweet.
that got derailed.
She
She
it
was
like
on
a
her way.
Her record label. This happens like that happened like Fiona Apple. It happens to like a lot of people. Like where you kind of like have a record. Like her record label kind of like kept her on the shelf. I think purposefully, sort of. So yeah, she got screwed. I think by the end.
It's so hard to tell. Music is so like I see something where it's like, here's how Katy Perry got fucked over by the industry, and
Yeah.
then someone replied like, well, maybe if she had made another good song, it would have kept
Totally,
going.
totally.
And it's hard to tell from afar.
Sexy confidant. Have you
That's her
seen
new
that?
song, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's crazy.
I always think of her song. I can't even say it now because it's such the way it's phrased is so weird. That Alex Fast, from original member of Uncle Function, would always sing it. Uncle Deshaunally, because it's the song
I don't even know.
Deshaunally.
It's unconditionally,
Oh.
but the way she sings it sounds like Uncle Deshaunally.
It sounds like one of your like
Uncle
Chabad songs. Uncle Deshaunally.
Deshaunally.
I don't think I've heard that one.
And then Taylor, your favorite Katy Perry song.
What is my favorite Katy Perry?
Kissed a girl.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Katy Perry. Not that she asked, not my type, but I think
Yeah.
she's a beautiful woman. You know, I'm glad she has her husband, but I wouldn't.
Wait, who's she married to?
Orlando Bloom.
Oh.
Yeah. Yes.
But whenever I see that video of Russell Brand breaking up with her right before she goes on stage,
yeah.
I mean, it almost feels like it must be staged because it's so incredible.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
you've seen
unreal.
it, right?
Yeah.
But then you have to remember she was dating Russell Brand.
Married to
Married.
Russell
Married.
Brand.
You gotta. You gotta hold people accountable for the people that they dated. I understand.
No, not me.
Oh, it was Russell Brand like 2009.
No, 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 not. I don't want that for me.
Last thing I asked, because I just remember I had a friend in high school that we fell out of touch, but he was gay.
Ew.
I know.
Why?
I know. And it was one of those where and no one was, when I went to high school, and it was a liberal DC school, no one was out of the closet.
We're kind of old. Like, I think sometimes people forget, like, times have changed, and I think sometimes we meld into, like, we have a lot of, like, Gen Z friends and stuff, but
And now
things were
kids are
scary
identifying
and
as desks and laptops.
Shut up.
dark. Why aren't you friends with this guy anymore? He didn't feel safe with you. Why?
But it was one of those things, like, as a friend, and again, way back, where it was like, he was someone, he felt like he was struggling through life. And it was like, I wonder if I went back now with my, like, whether he wanted someone to be, hey, buddy, it's cool, or to guide him. But
can't-
never happened, and I have no
Yeah.
idea.
Or he'd go off on you, because that's what I
Sure.
did,
Yeah.
you know?
Sure,
You're
I'm not gay.
gay.
You're gay,
Well,
and
just-
that might have done something for me too.
What-
We've just
see?
gone back and forth the whole time. I'm not gay. You're gay.
100%, you never know.
Until we're
Like,
sucking each other off.
I didn't even know I was homophobic until I had to come out as gay. Like, that's pretty crazy. You know what I mean? I had been number one, like, gay defender my whole life, and then someone tried to call me gay. I said, what?
Would you? Do you feel any pang of? Oh, would have been cool to be in a group.
No, I felt like I had friends in college. I think when I moved to New York, the first 3 years of being in New York, like kind of pre Uncle Function, I was
Can you
like,
imagine how rough-
because I didn't do improv. I was like, I don't know
What were you out there
anyone
doing?
here. Truly, I don't know. Like a lot of bad jobs, so many bad jobs.
When you would leave your job, like, what kind of job? Were you waiting tables? What were you doing?
I mean,
Selling
I
bubbles?
demonstrated magic at Toys R Us, Times
Oh,
Square.
okay.
I worked at FAO Schwartz, the toy store there. A lot of toy stores. I demonstrated
The North
magic
Pole,
there.
what else?
I was a door-to-door salesman for 3 months.
yeah, that's
toys.
I worked in a call center. I mean, I did them all.
yeah, and when you
know?
would leave work, because those aren't really
I-
jobs where you would have
I don't
coworkers
know
that
what
you vibe
happened.
with.
I was just
Okay.
kind of like in an apartment, you know,
Wow, that's
like
wild.
no friends. Like
That would
just
stress
kind of
me
like
out.
looking around.
Yeah.
That's my proposal. It's a fraternity for like early 20s, just moved to New York guys.
Yeah,
Guys.
yeah.
I think
And
that
that-
is comedy now. You don't think?
Sure,
A little,
sure.
sort of.
Yeah.
And that now that that's gone, things are bad.
Yeah.
That's why we need
Is
those
it gone,
schools
though?
back. I mean, the whole system of it all.
Oh, yeah.
It's broken.
Yeah, yeah.
It used to be.
Do you think that just maybe is generationally us? Because, or
I think it was a boom. I just think it was
I
a
think
boom.
it's coming back. Maybe.
I don't know. I think it was predicated on the belief that this was an entryway to fame and fortune, and for a second it felt like that might be true.
Oh, I thought it was just like I like what you were saying, where you're like, is Shannon going to be there? I literally just was like, I want to get on a house team. Like,
That's
my
what I'm
plan
saying.
was just to get on a house team. Like, I was,
But
like,
even that house team, I think more what UCB was, where they up for those this in New York, the Upright Citizens Brigade, where it was just the belief that if someone could put you on a stage, then audience would be there. The concept of an audience will be there for the thing that you want to create, that people just thought that was granted. People thought at a certain point, it's like, well, we're part of this thing, and you go to Maud Night,
Yeah.
and it'll be sold out. It'll be sold out.
No, my first experience was like I did indie improv teams, and no one would. My first indie show I ever did, there was 3 people in the audience, and one of them was Sarah Bareilles, and it was the worst.
Oh my god.
It was 2 people and Sarah Bareilles.
The flyer should have said she's going to be there in the audience.
Sarah's going to be there, and it was
Why was she there?
horrible. Her sister's a comedian,
Oh.
and and like wasn't on my stinky little team. Although really funny people on the team, we just hadn't done. We were brand new, and we were struggling up there. But that was really, I didn't think anyone was going to come to the shows.
Sure.
Not Sarah. I didn't think Sarah was going to be there.
Sure.
But then more and more, if I did a house team show, I didn't think if nobody showed up and it was just my improv team, and this is part of the problem, I'm just there to do the show with my improv team. I actually had to learn to be like, there needs actually to be an audience, like you need to work on that part of yourself that is marketing yourself a little bit because you're doing it a little too much for the love of it,
Yeah.
Sure.
I would get mad at UCB because I would get mad that like we'd have these sold out shows at UCB and I'd be like, and it was fine. Mm-hmm. And like being like, it works so hard on an indie sketch team to get people to come and like feel proud of something. And then you'd be like, you'd go and there'd be a million people there. And it was all students looking back on it, that were just had to be there. But I would get so mad that I'd be like, because everyone would laugh at everything. And it was so fine. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know. I was having like such a blast.
Oh, okay.
Russell's just
I was having,
miserable.
like,
You don't
such a good
appreciate
time.
what you have.
You're only there for once.
My expectations.
You left immediately.
Improv I did for years, and my expectations were so low. Like I was so thrilled to be there doing something I loved. And we had this coach at one point and a friend and I were just talking about this yesterday because we were on the same team, and he would say,
Is that the Pit?
It was at the Pit. We had a coach named Pat Swearingen, and he said, think about when you do the show, when you do the improv show tonight for no money, you have to think about yourself when you were like 15 and you wanted to do comedy, and now you're here and there's like a place for you in like the biggest comedy city in the world, and like you have a show every week and you have an audience every week, and like you're here and you already did it. And I thought that was like, that's really true. I wanted nothing more. When like we started working together and stuff, I was literally like, wait, what do you, my first job.
Money to be had?
Yeah, my first job was like a hosting, like a random hosting job, like definitely not the dream of what I wanted to do. And Tova was like, it's $15,000. And I was like, it's $15,000?
How many drink tickets?
Oh my God. Endless. It was a branded deal. We were going across the country, endless drink tickets.
I mean, truly, in retrospect, you should have been paid so much more money.
But to me, I said,
so much more.
Right. But
she took a tour bus across the country with a bunch of
branded media, like
Yeah.
who worked at a company for.
And then in the sweltering heat of the summer.
Yeah. I was in like the
Did man
desert
on
of
the
Roswell
street.
being like, hey, Candy Crush fam, we're here outside of Roswell, New Mexico. We're out here outside the spacewalk at Roswell, New Mexico, getting our crush on.
Sweating.
Dressing myself, like buying all my own
Yeah.
clothes for it, doing my own hair. I'm like hungover as shit. I slept in a coffin on a bus. I'm like, this has been the best 10 days of my life.
You worked during the real upswing of online kind of clickbaity, small time sketch. You worked at Elite Daily.
I worked at Elite Daily, yeah.
And you were there during the crash of the .com.
Yeah.
Is there a name for it? There was the .com crash was like the early 2000s.
It was like the BuzzFeed bubble, kind of.
Yeah.
It was like that 23rd Street, they had like all those business, like BuzzFeed was there, and then Elite Daily was there, but then they had like the HuffPo, they were doing videos. I wasn't doing videos. I was like
Refinery.
writing like in entertainment. I was being like, Kim Kardashian ate a churro today or whatever, but I had waited tables for years before that, so I literally would go there every day high as a kite at 9 a.m. Free snacks. Brain turned all the way off. Incredible job. Okay.
And where would you get
Are they giving you stories?
Yeah.
Are they saying,
Yeah,
cover this,
we're not
cover this?
breaking news.
Taylor did Watergate.
So they're telling you that Kim Kardashian ate a churro.
No,
and
like
you're-
BuzzFeed is
you're
writing about it
spinning
first,
Okay.
or like some. Yeah,
Are you full on
Entertainment Tonight, ET.
copy and pasting?
Yeah, no, but you have to like write it. What they really liked is like
A
if
churro was eaten by Kim
Yeah.
Kardashian.
You're
they
like-
liked it if like they would jump on the headline and then you would like put your own little funny little spin on it.
Churro
Like me and
Dashian.
another friend worked there, and we would be like, whatever. We would like you just have to like make sure you had 500 words or something, and you'd write a bunch a day, and it was just being like, we'll make it like a funny version of this BuzzFeed story instead of just the facts or
Were
the
you
TMZ
keeping track
story.
of like, my article did well today, or did you ever have one that like blew up and you were like, this is insane?
Yeah, sometimes it would blow up or like whatever.
What was the
but-
Rock one?
Oh yeah, The Rock put me on his Instagram because I was I mean, looking back, I was sexually objectifying The Rock. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
he loved it.
What did you say?
He was like a best dressed list, and I said he looked like absolutely scrumptious, buttery delicious. You know what I mean? And he loved it, and he shared it. So that was always fun. But
He's like, I'm not gay. The Rock is hot.
I'm like literally hottest guy I've ever seen.
That's a man.
Yeah. And no, it was, I didn't care at all. I remember getting the job and being like, this is the easiest job I've ever had. I was salaried. The money I was making for the work I was
wild.
doing was just like insane. And yeah, looking back, were they running the business well? Obviously not. But I think I got the job. I was there for 2 years, which is crazy. And I just thought, enjoy this while it lasts, because it's not going to last.
Could you feel the walls crumbling?
I was working there with a really paranoid friend who got me the job, and he was always like, make sure you're keeping all your emails, writing them down in your contacts.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, I don't care about this.
Yeah.
I don't care about this. When I leave this job, when they fire me, I'm going to float away to something else that'll materialize in front of me. And that's how I live my life. And for the most part, it helps me avoid anxiety and entitlement.
Yeah.
I'm literally like, something will happen.
Were you fired?
Yeah.
It was crazy.
I'm really sorry. I didn't watch Succession, but I heard that there is a scene like this in Succession where they like mass fire. Like,
Yeah.
So it was
You're
literally-
in it.
I know.
Yeah.
I don't like to watch. I genuinely
You're
don't.
not in that much of it.
Taylor, I can't watch Succession. I can't
can't-
watch anything
I can't watch
In case
myself.
they talk
if I
about my
did pop
character
up,
again.
if I
Driver.
popped up for even a line, I would be like, I would pick myself apart. I don't want to see that.
Yeah.
Also, when I shot the show, I was like, what is the tone of this?
Yeah, 'Cause
Sure.
this before it came out. So
Yeah.
Sure.
So I'm mostly scared of having to
So you're
watch.
doing like real goofy. You're like,
Oh, I was giving so much. I was like swinging. I had
Excuse
about
me.
12 seconds. I'm swinging my ponytail around. I'm like staying in the shot, kind of.
But there is this scene where he comes in and like mass
Fires
fires
everyone.
everyone.
Yeah, that's
and
what
it's
it was.
literally what happened.
They probably kept a third of the company on, and then they had a third of the company go like be freelance, basically make less money. You're not salaried. You don't have
No
health
insurance.
And then those of us who I had been brought in a little earlier, and I have a feeling I was getting paid more than other people. And so me and my friend were in this third group where they bring us into this room, and a lot of the people. I was probably like 27 or 28 when I got fired, and we're standing in this room, and everyone else was probably like a couple years younger, like anywhere from like 22 to 24. And so they hadn't had they like thought that work is family and stuff, like no offense, but like they did think that. And they would hang out together and spend time together.
Yeah.
No judgment, because literally me and my friend were going to do our improv show every night, like absolute losers, okay? And so they bring us into this room, and I think everyone else was having this feeling of like, you're just letting us go. This is my family. This is my job. And that's on you, like you should have made a plan, like no one owes you anything. And that's a big lesson. And if you had worked at a bunch of stinky restaurants for a bunch of cokeheads, you would know that, but you didn't. This is your, if that was my first job, I can't imagine.
Yeah.
And so my friend and I are sitting in the back, and everyone's in the meeting crying. They're crying, they're holding hands, they're crying. And me and my friend are like, we got 3 months severance, 3 months severance.
Oh my God.
Because they gave us no
lot.
notice. 3 months
Yeah.
severance, 3 months health insurance. We were like,
Yeah.
they were like, we're all going to a bar after this. I'm like, I'm not. I'll never see you people again.
Legitimately, it was like the Friday before Taylor was like, should I quit?
Oh yeah.
Straight,
I had an
literally, it was
audition for the
crazy.
Jim Gaffigan show.
Wow.
And they didn't want to let me go to it. And I said, I gotta get out of here.
we got his.
This is
Hey.
Making a lot more money off this than the
Jim,
Jim
I'm
Gaffigan
so
show.
sorry I didn't give you the opportunity to hire me for your show.
I one time was at a job where they called us all in at weird times, and I said to everyone, I think we're getting fired. And everyone else was fired except me. Because everyone else was like, I don't think so. Maybe we're getting like raises. Like, and I was like, no, it's weird. I think we're all getting fired. And the other 3 people all got fired, and then I got to keep my job.
Oh my
and
God.
they
Which
all-
toy store was that?
That was not a toy store. That is a different job.
Wow.
But yeah.
Yeah. I just rode the wave till it was done. I think it's one of those jobs. You know what I mean? It was like amazing that I had it, and I got to do comedy at night, and I made money.
Yeah.
I got a terrible haircut while I was there. It was just,
Yeah.
and then I was gay, and that's the whole.
Let's go on to our next segment. This has got to
This
stop.
has got to stop.
This got to stop. Something that needs to stop and go away. Can be big, small, broad, personal. I have one. Do you have one?
Yeah.
What?
You want to go?
Go ahead.
Do you have that? Okay, so I keep getting this one Twitter ad. Don't play it quite, but it's. I believe the philosopher's name is Daniel Craig Robinson, Lane Craig Robinson. I think he's a philosopher, Christian philosopher, and somehow this ad pops up every time. It's him talking to, of all people, Ben Shapiro, and this is like
yeah.
to somehow convince me to become Christian.
We get it. I
and
get
this
it
is
too.
this is the ad.
Is this on Instagram or TikTok?
Twitter.
Oh, Twitter. Because there's like a lot of Christianity on Instagram right now.
It's crazy.
What is the proof that Jesus was who he says he is in the Gospels?
I think the answer to that is his resurrection from the dead. Jesus' resurrection from the dead is Yahweh's public and unequivocal vindication of the man whom the chief priests had rejected as a blasphemer. Therefore, I follow Jesus in his conception of what it means to be the Messiah. The inference to the resurrection of Jesus are three great independently established facts. That Jesus' tomb was discovered empty on the first day of the week by a group of his female followers. Secondly would be that various individuals and groups of people witnessed appearances of Jesus alive. And finally, number three would be the original disciples suddenly and sincerely came to believe that God had raised Jesus from the dead, despite having every predisposition to the contrary.
That's a really good point.
Witnesses. Now, listen, especially because we're both getting this. So clearly they put in 30s to 40s, white, sad.
Yeah.
And we're getting them a lot. And here's my argument. It's like, look, if you want to convert me to Christianity, you're not going to do it with your 3 points that a lot of people said.
Yeah.
A lot of people said a long time ago. You're going to have to relate to me on like a, hey, it's bad. It's bad and it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And wouldn't it be nice?
Right.
Jesus.
Someone's going to take your
That's-
piece of the pie. Someone's coming for what you have. And you gotta...
Or just like, hey, look at you. Is what you're doing good?
Yeah.
No. Maybe try this. Wow. But like the idea of like, and I get this ad 10 times a day on my Twitter feed.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you thought that the reason I wasn't there is because I needed a couple more testimonies that they saw the guy?
Yeah.
That
need proof.
And first of all, and Ben Shapiro, like that's the gateway. Like, well, I like this guy. I like
an Orthodox Jew. Like,
he's
what
an
is
Orthodox
he
Jew, and
doing?
he's got the yarmulke, and he says Yahweh as heavy as he can. So it's just the wrong way to appeal. I don't know who that's to appeal to.
Yeah.
It's the wrong way.
Yeah.
You could get me to join a cult in the right way.
Yeah.
But
You think?
but you can't go through it up here with the facts. You got to go through it down here with the sad.
Yeah.
You got to go down here with the like, come on, buddy. Don't you want to have some people to hang out with sometimes?
Yeah.
So that's my that's why this got to stop. If you're going to try to manipulate me, at least do it in a way that it appeals to marketing.
Yeah.
They should do, because on Instagram they have all those like trad wife Instagrams where it's like women are
They
like...
should send them to them.
That they should show them, like,
Yes.
look at all
Yeah.
these young,
Homemaker.
hot women, homemakers who are like, are literally also the tone is like, I'm so happy ever since I relinquished my power. I'm so satisfied.
There's that one that was really popular where it was like, my kids asked for a PB&J.
Yeah, Nara
5
Smith.
hours later, I made the jelly with
Yeah.
all these ingredients. And yeah, I guess so. That is definitely more...
Yeah.
Yeah. Who's it? Yeah.
I'll send it to you because, I mean, the PB&J looks amazing.
Well, that's Nara Smith, and I do believe her husband is actually Mormon, which is a little different. But
Sure.
you know, it's still trad wife culture for sure.
And what does trad stand for?
Traditional
Traditional.
wife.
Oh, I didn't-
Gianmarco is converting before our eyes.
Look at the gleam in his eyes.
tradition.
The other day I mentioned that I used to make my ex-boyfriend like lunch every day, like in a crock pot before he would go to work. And Gianmarco goes, really? Used to make that?
How interesting.
Probably was tasty.
Who made you lunch today?
And it was delicious. And honey, when I'm eating the food you make me, I go, I get it.
She's a good cook.
I get it. Very good cook.
Yeah.
What is your this is
Oh,
guys?
this is
And
my-
it cannot be women voting again.
This guy stop is sometimes I'll see people like not like friends. So don't, if you're a friend of mine, I'm not talking about you. I'll see people who I see from time to time, and they'll apologize about not listening to the podcast, and it's like if anything. All you telling me you don't listen, it's just now a person in my head that I can talk about on the podcast, because it's like I'm not assuming anyone's listening. So it's like one of those things where you're like, it's just this weird moment where they're apologizing like I've been waiting for them to comment on it. Do you know what I mean? They're like, I gotta be honest with you, and I'm like, I don't give a shit. Like, what are you talking about? Like, so anyways, it happens a lot though, and I don't care if you're not listening.
They're not going to know to stop is the problem.
No.
You're shouting into the void.
But it's a lot because, of course, basically
not.
you'd be saying like, "Hey, did you listen to the 4 hours of content I made for you
every week?" No, of course, yeah.
Is there ever when you did Titanic though? Is that a moment where you have friends who never saw it, and you go,
I don't think I had a good friend that didn't see it really. Well, maybe that's not true, but I don't mind if you don't bring it up.
Yeah, I don't really think
I don't
about
mind
it.
if you don't, I do get annoyed when it's like, oh, I really wanted to see that, and I was like, if you got like 15 months,
Sure. Chance.
because then they want the point. They want the point of like, I wanted to. I
to.
didn't make any effort at all.
It was
so
like,
let's go.
that's the only time I get annoyed is like, you could have done that. You know, you had a lot of.
That's why I've stopped if I like can't go to something or whatever. I used to want to like be like I have to if it was like close to the thing and I'm not going, I'd be like I have to let them know. And it's like no, you don't.
No.
Like no one wants a text right before they go on stage
no.
or have a party or something saying, "Oh, I know you're really hoping I would be there, but I'm not going to be there." It's like it's going to be fine. I wouldn't probably notice, and it's really good.
Yeah,
it's really fine.
Give it. This got to stop.
I don't. I always have them like on the street, and then I completely blank. I have
I'm
a lot in
surprised.
my life.
You have
but
a lot
I can't
in your
think-
life.
Yeah, I have a
If
lot.
one comes to you,
Yeah.
I've
I've been thinking. I've been thinking.
Yeah.
Do you have a this got to stop?
Yeah, I mean, I flew here. I'm flying back. I've been flying a lot this year and for the past 5 or 6 years. And my one that I think about even when I'm not on a plane, which is crazy, is if you, and I know there's people who don't travel for work. I really get it. But what the people I'm talking about do travel for work, okay? And it's when the plane lands, and if you're in seat like 400D, okay?
Yeah.
And it's always a guy in a button down or something. So maybe you're on a business trip. You do not need to run into the aisle and run off the plane. It's clogging it up. It's making it take longer. The concept of like, but I want to get off the plane is like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. And if your job didn't pay for you to sit in business class, don't run to the business trip. Why are you running off the plane to get to the business trip faster?
Yeah.
It's insane. It's always like these older dudes like clogging the aisles, and there's like an old woman trying to get out of her seat. And I'm like, this is crazy.
No, if they shout, if they say, I'm so sorry, I have a connection, I'm about to miss it.
Yes.
That's okay.
And I also actually kind of, if I see someone kind of jumping out, I will be like, do they have a
Sure.
You know when someone has a connection.
You
can always
know,
tell.
of course.
Because
They've told everyone around them.
And they're sort of doing the loud checking where they're like, where is it connect?
Yeah.
And I would do that if I had a connection. I would make it so obvious that I had a connection.
I'd really put on a performance.
Because I don't confront people off of them, but when people go ahead in the plane and they don't let it's row by row by row.
Takes forever.
Oh, I say something.
And listen, if you're in an aisle seat, you want to stand up, get your bags. Like it is a little frustrating, but I get it. We all want to like stand up, stretch our legs. It's the privilege of an aisle seat. I don't hate that as much.
Yeah.
The walking through, it's like you guys were in a tube. If we weren't in a tube, do whatever you want.
Yeah.
I forget if I said this on the show. So I went on recently and I had the aisle seat, which I picked in advance. I always do. I actually do window because I can sleep against the thing.
Yeah.
That's the only way I can sleep. So now I'm always window.
Me too.
But occasionally I had to go aisle. And this guy, I go up to my seat and this guy's sitting in the aisle. And he goes, what are you? A D. Is D? He said, I'm D. Is D aisle or middle? I'm like, motherfucker. We all know what D is.
You know,
Are
sir.
you seriously?
Yeah.
You thought I? And I. And
Is
the thing is,
D-
like,
and
I think what made me most mad is like, I knew it wouldn't work on me, but I'm thinking about the person that he would have been able to manipulate
Yeah.
into giving him that seat, and I was like, fuck.
You don't have to move
dude.
for anybody.
D-
You don't have
which
to
one's
trade with
D?
anybody.
A B C. It was just insane.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
And
That's insane. Absolutely.
don't
not.
force me to confront
No.
you.
That happened to me on my flight to England. Hasidic men won't sit next to women on the plane, so they'll make a whole issue and be like, "I need to move seats." And when you fly to Israel, it's like mayhem because there's
Do
so
they do
many
it
Hasidic.
politely? Do they go like?
Sometimes, and sometimes they're like real dicks about it. But like this guy was sitting in the middle of a international flight, and he was like asked if I would switch with him. And it's like, are you insane?
In the middle.
Like, in the middle. Not only the middle, but the middle of the middle.
flight.
No, like you know, there's 3 rows. The middle of the middle
way.
section.
No.
No,
And
I'm
I'm like,
so sorry.
that's actually the last place I would ever want to
No.
be. And I'm like,
No.
and I also am like, I obviously wasn't presenting Orthodox, but I'm like, I know what you're doing, and no, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, you
Remember
thought
that
it
for
was
your,
that he could have
vacation
prepared.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
No, they always do it. They always do, and he was gone, and then he did figure it out.
What do you mean he was
sat-
gone?
He sat somewhere else. He did figure it out ultimately.
Oh, he traded with someone else.
He did trade with
traded
someone
with
else
someone
ultimately because I didn't see him the rest of the flight. But
Yeah.
you know,
Remember, there's that stand-up comedian. He was Hasidic. I saw him at a mic once. He was so funny. He just talked about bumping into a girl in the subway. He's like, I felt like a slut. And it was, and I couldn't tell if it was a character he really was or, I don't fucking know. Let's go on to our final segment.
Okay.
You better count your blessings.
You better count your blessing. Something that we're thankful for. Russell, do you have a blessing?
Yeah. Okay. So my I don't love the haircut, but my barber shop.
What don't you like about it?
It's fine. I got to figure out. Like they tried to blame me after it was done. They were like,
Wait, the moment they finished, they said
they were like, I was like, well, I have a cowlick in front, and it feels like, and they're like, oh yeah, it was like you must have had a headband or a hat on. I was like, yeah, and they're like, oh well, it was mad at, and I was like, well, we couldn't have like, anyways. But I like though that I go there regularly, and they're like super chatty, but they don't talk to me that much, and I appreciate that they know that I don't love it. And they're like, but there are guys that come they go every 5 days so they can talk to another person. But then they're very chatty with. I feel like they know though that I'm like, I don't want to really talk that much.
Isn't this a perfect metaphor though? Your lack of wanting to communicate resulted in you not getting what you want.
Yeah.
I showed them a picture of
who?
what I wanted. Yeah. No, like of an old picture.
Was it like
me.
a young Josh Gad or a more recent Josh Gad?
It was 2011, Josh Gad.
Tova, you go.
I mean, I'm thankful for both of you, all of you, but Taylor.
You're mine too.
I think, I'm so thankful you came for my birthday. It means so much. I'm so thankful that Gianmarco orchestrated it. I just felt very blessed in like a real way. I feel like talk about community and being in New York in your 20s and just figuring it out. I feel like it took a long time to cultivate like real friendship and real community, and the both of you, being a part of that in like a real way of, it was really, really meaningful. And it made me really emotional. And also Russell for buying a round of drinks.
Yeah,
for my birthday.
Very, I wasn't
very
there,
sweet.
but didn't get my drink.
It was just a personal.
Gianmarco was like, this drink was $400. Yeah, that's what it cost. No, I'm so thankful, and it was like one of those like, when you're young, you're like, I hate birthdays, and it's because your birthdays are bad because you don't have friends.
Right, I still don't really like them. But
Yeah, well, maybe but I like this was the first year I'm like, I like birthdays, and I think I'm a birthday girl.
You are such a birthday girl. I don't really
birthday month, Tova.
I only post for people whose birthdays who like I feel like that's part of their love language,
Yes.
and like you're one of those people. You are a person who cares about their birthday, for sure.
And I think many years I'm like, whatever. I'd like be ready for a letdown,
to be disappointed.
And this was like not only it superseded, which I think is really hard to do.
Yeah.
So I'm not
going to say too much because I have a big portion of my like my Oscars acceptance speech that I've planned that is about Tova and about Tova. So I don't want to like say all the specifics on the pod, like saving it for when I'm on the broadcast. But for sure, I'm obviously really grateful for Tova, not only as a friend, but as like my creative collaborator as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think. Oh God, I can't even make this comparison because it would be too much explaining about people again.
I want to hear it.
Me in the way, like the truth is, before we met, I was existing as someone who was really just like doing comedy like only for the love of it, and I would have been satisfied for the rest of my life.
There's money here, girl.
Well, kind of, but like I would have like waited table. I like wouldn't have pushed myself really. I would have been happy like literally waiting tables doing improv for the rest of my life, and I think that. When people see what I make, I think it seems like I'm the one making it, but I wouldn't have like even explored those things if we hadn't met each other. Like there's no like version of me having like a career or even having certain creative experiences if we weren't doing it together. God, that's part of my Oscar speech, literally.
They're going to play the music off, so you might as well say it now. So long.
I have a good blessing for your birthday. I won't say her name. I do know it, but because I don't know if it would be. So there happened to be someone who is
anesthesiologist.
Anesthesiologist. It's amazing that you can say the word. and I think they're going to help me figure out all the things I need to know about how to sleep on a plane. And it was so nice. It's so crazy that I can't go to my own doctor and ask the questions
Wait,
I want to
this
ask.
is one of Tova's friends?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, I felt like you, okay.
And I feel like, and they're very cool. I'm sure people ask them all the goddamn time, but they're gonna help me figure out the things I wish I could ask my doctor, who, when I asked him for sleep medication, said, "Have you tried giving your brain permission to fall asleep?"
Oh my God.
So I'm very grateful for that.
I don't think you're gonna like Adderall, but I'll give you some. But I don't think you're gonna like it.
I'm
You're
so
just going
excited.
around asking everyone for drugs.
I'm trying them all now. I think I'm going to do it on the pod.
I'm not gonna give
Adderall.
Gianmarco unprescribed
Wait, I
Adderall
gotta
for the
say,
record.
Wait, on a recent episode, he took one Zyn and almost
my
died.
We almost had to end it.
He almost died. He had to throw up. He had to eat almonds. He had to.
My head itched. It was awful.
It was awful.
It's and what is it?
It's nicotine.
I've seen it.
It's
Oh,
like, it's
yeah,
like
yeah,
you
yeah.
or you
Nicotine salt or something.
Yeah. Makes
you
So
nauseous,
we're
yeah.
gonna do one. I'm gonna try one episode on Adderall.
Oof.
I'm not doing Adderall.
Okay, that's fine. But then you have to. We've already talked about this for the Patreon.
Do it.
Patreon.com/downside. We're going to do an episode. We always release a little of the Patreon publicly, but then at the end of one of the Patreons, and it's coming up soon, Russell and I are both going to do poppers right here on this couch.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Have you done it?
No. God. No, but it's poppers. It's not like
Yeah,
You know what I mean? It'll.
I
be
heard it's so quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're into it.
We'll see.
We'll see.
I kind of want you to do it and then just see, and then maybe I'll do it right.
Maybe
after.
that's how the Patreon. I do it in the beginning.
Yeah.
And then if I'm live by the end, you do it at the
Gianmarco
end
like
of the
begging
Patreon.
to do poppers on camera, like being like, "I'm not gay."
This is. Oh no! Let's plug stuff.
Oh yeah.
Okay, this is coming out. Sorry. This is coming out July 30th. Tova, what do you want to plug?
All of my clients work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You manage to have websites like check out my clients. They're all
check out all my clients. Check out my IMDb Pro page.
I'm always going to
Go-
agents'
Go
websites to look at
client by
what.
client and look up their Instagrams and follow all of
Yeah.
them. Subscribe to an IMDb Pro account. Pay the money.
Yes.
If you want to pay enough money to get some of them headshots on
Yeah.
their pages, because some of them don't have.
I mean,
so-
Russell needs some new ones now.
It's such a
Yeah.
scam.
But check out all my clients' work, including something Taylor's cooking up.
I'm
That'll
cooking
come out later
something
this
up.
year.
It'll come up later this
And
year.
you're in a trailer right now.
I'm in a trailer right now. Watch Jackpot on Amazon
yeah.
Prime.
I was like, what you saw in the trailer.
And actually, that'll be coming out in August, which is really exciting. So it's like probably 2 weeks after this. You can
Yeah.
watch Jackpot. And you can see, if you want to see something I made, you can watch Long Lost on my socials.
What's your handle?
Taylor Ortega.
Taylor Ortega will be in the comments as
It's
well.
in there, yeah.
Russell, what do you want to plug
When's this coming out again?
after our tour?
Oh well, then,
Sorry.
you missed it. Follow me on Instagram at Russell J Daniels.
You want to plug the company you work for to vote?
No.
Okay.
That's separate.
And me, I'm going to Australia with Tova.
Oh, wow.
Melbourne, Perth, Brisbane, Sydney, and Auckland. And then when I'm back in the States later in July, later in August, I will be at Grand Rapids, Michigan at Dr. Grin's Comedy Club. This is The Downside.
1, 2, 3. Downside.
You're listening to The Downside
The Downside.
with Gianmarco Soresi.